Hello, everybody, and welcome back to ChipZ Ahoy. It's your boy, Chimpanzee, and we are talking, after so long, we're talking One Piece once again. And holy shit, man, this is maybe the longest we've had a break from One Piece since the fucking time skip. Since, right after Marineford, right after the post-Marineford little arc we had there, with the Luffy, Sabo, and Ace flashback. This is the longest break we've had since then, as far as I'm aware, at least. You know, I've been reading weekly since before the time skip. I forget exactly when I caught up. It must have been, between, Impel Down and, the Paramount War or whatever. It was somewhere in there that I caught up. But, yeah, it's, I've been reading weekly since then, since, high school or whatever. And yeah, this is definitely the longest break we've had since then, and frankly, I'll be honest with you guys, it couldn't have come at a better time for me personally. Oi, what's up, Hiago 06HD99? Oi to you as well, my friend. How are we doing? We also got Ishmael the Adventurer says, I cannot stay because spoilers. Ishmael's my boy. We do a podcast together. What's up, Ishmael? But I did hear some news, so now I must ask, what's your favorite filler arc in One Piece? God damn it, dude. I don't watch the anime. So, I mean, G5 is the one I hear is the best. But I've never actually watched the whole thing. So I can't give you a solid answer on that. I know you personally, so I will get back to you on that eventually when I've actually watched it. E mio aniversario. Is this Vale? I don't know. I don't know. How you doing? No, don't you understand because of what Oda said? It's all filler. Oh, it's all filler. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, okay, so let's address the elephant in the room, right? So there was this thing. So Oda went on a week break from publishing the manga to prepare for the final saga, which is coming up, right? So I didn't I know some other One Piece creators. I barely call myself a One Piece creator. I just do this shit for fun when I have the time. But a lot of One Piece creators covered the little things that they were publishing in the off period, which was called what was that fucking shit called? It was called Road to Raftel, which it should be called Load to Laughtail, but or to Laughtail. But fuck it, we're not gonna split hairs with the publishing team or whatever. But it was basically them just releasing a bunch of Oda's notes about the Wano saga and stuff he had planned and releasing stuff kind of Wano related stuff, talking about stuff he initially had planned, stuff showing original designs for various characters that appeared in Wano, original ideas that ended up getting scrapped, stuff like that. Personally, I wasn't super interested in that type of thing. I've never been super interested in kind of the stuff that the editorial team releases. Because I'll be honest, typically it just ends up kind of riling people up and making them pissed off. Oda did a really interesting interview recently, which I think that's where the part where, and he also released a press release, and that's where people said where Oda, where this thing about Oda kind of saying oh, this is where the real One Piece begins. Everything that comes before it was just fucking filler or whatever. I guess that's kind of how it's being interpreted. I wonder if I can find the actual quote from Ichiro Oda, author of the famed manga known as One Piece. Let me see. I'm gonna Google that actually. Because I don't want to misrepresent what he said here. Ichiro Oda, final saga. Let's see. One Piece creator shares a major final arc update. Is this the one? Is this the one? I don't fucking know. This fucking shit. God damn it. Okay, hold on. Let's see. I know he said something along the lines of I'm really he's been waiting to draw a lot of this stuff for ages. He's really excited to kind of do the to draw some of the things that are coming up in the final arc. He's he seems really excited to get into this final stretch of the series. And I think he said something along the lines of the real One Piece begins now, and he doesn't really care if people pick the series up right at the end because that's where the meat and potatoes are going to be. But listen guys, listen, we just got to say it. put it up on Front Street. Like, I know it's funny to meme that like everything that came before didn't matter. You know, why did we like spend all this time reading and going on these adventures? The answer is obvious. It's because One Piece is about the journey, not the destination. Like that, if there's anything you should take away from One Piece, it's that like the journey is just as important, if not more important, than the final destination. And I see a lot of kind of like doomer shit these days where it's like people are essentially I see a lot of doomer shit in the One Piece community these days where like people are really worried about the final saga because a lot of people felt like let down by certain things in Wano, and Wano isn't over yet. But a lot of people felt let down by certain things in Wano, and they feel like this is kind of going to be like similar. Like they feel like they're very likely to be let down by like what's coming in the final saga or whatever. And you know, fair enough. You know, like Oda, you know, he doesn't always get everything right, and like we, you know, it's funny to like, you know, pull out the Hackta memes and stuff like that. Look, I can appreciate, you know, memeing on Hackta every now and then, calling him out when he does something fucked up. Listen, I love that shit. It's hilarious. But we got to remember, this dude, you know, he definitely like kind of, for me, like I got into One Piece when I was like kind of like 17, 18. So or like maybe a little younger. I might have been 16 when I started reading it. But like for me, it was one of those things where like reading One Piece kind of like made me feel like a kid again. Like it kind of, you know, had this sort of like childlike wonder to it that I still think it kind of inspires to this very day. And it's why, part of the reason why I really love reading One Piece. And as much as, yes, there are like, you know, Oda's tiptoeing into some dangerous territory with like some prophecy stuff, some Nika stuff, you know, stuff that not everyone loves. We got to remember that like at the end of the day, like a lot of the recent interviews are kind of like reiterating the fact that like Oda really just wants to have fun. He based Luffy's like Gear 5 literally off of Tom and Jerry. Like, you know, it's one of those things where anyone, by the way, spoilers for the latest chapter if you couldn't tell. This is a chapter 1054 stream. I know we have some people in here who might not, you know, be up to speed. I appreciate you guys stopping by, but you know, we're going to start talking about stuff like, you know, current stuff in One Piece. So just be forewarned, you know, now might be a good time to dip out and watch later once you're caught up. But essentially, what I got to say about that is that like Oda essentially, here's the thing. Even if One Piece ends badly, that doesn't make all of the joy, all of like the fun, all of the like the resonant shit, the resonant like stories, the resonant like character arcs, all the stuff that you love about One Piece isn't ruined because, and this goes for any series as well. If something has a bad ending, that doesn't make the whole series inherently bad, and it shouldn't take away like what that series meant for you at the point in time that you like loved it and were into it. Like I see a lot of doomer shit where they're like, you know, people are like, for people like Attack on Titan. Apparently, I haven't finished the manga. I've been just tracking along with the anime. I'm still enjoying it. A lot of people think Attack on Titan's manga had a terrible ending. Do not spoil me on that shit. I will ban you. But like essentially, but like even if that ends up being true, even if when I get to the end of the anime I find out, oh, okay, yeah, I'm not super huge fan of this ending here, I'm still going to like appreciate Attack on Titan for what it was and how good it was and how fun it was to like experience the story like, you know, as it was coming out, and like the twists and turns and like the good storytelling that was there along the way. Even if it doesn't 100% stick the landing, that doesn't ruin the experience that you had, and it shouldn't. It just shouldn't. Like if you let like something that ending badly like ruin your experience up to that point or sour the experience that you had up to that point, that is you kind of like, I think that is just like, that's just dumb. Like, don't do that. Don't be that person. Make up your own mind about shit. And like, even if like you think the ending is bad, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to color everything else that came before as bad. We've got some comments here. Are you ready for another bridge chapter? I sure am, dude. Is someone going to get pushed off this bridge? I hope it's me. I am so ready for that. Ego says, wow, AOT spoilers. Oh, God. Anything I could possibly say or applies. Is this Talking Pirates? It is not Talking Pirates, because I show my face. Nate, that fucking coward, would never show his face on camera. That piece of shit. No, I actually, honestly, like, I think I've said this on here before, but like, the part of the reason why I started doing ChipZ Ahoy, which is what this show is called, if you're new, welcome to the show. But part of the reason why I started doing it is like there used to be kind of like regular One Piece content that I really liked. Stuff like the Podcast, stuff like Monkey D. Jones, stuff like that. But like I think and it's not even that I hate Talking Pirates. Like I tune in occasionally, but it's just like Nate just kind of seething the whole time is not like what I liked about the Podcast. The Podcast was interesting because Nate and Gib had a good dynamic, and like it led to and different perspectives on the series, which led to interesting conversations. So even if like Nate would spurg out on something, a lot of times like Gib would be like, well, I liked, that's true, and I also have a problem with that, but I also thought it was cool for this reason. And then vice versa. Sometimes Gib would be like, I didn't like this, and Nate would be like, I actually thought that was cool. So like it kind of the different way those two viewed the series kind of allowed for sort of like different opinions and different like perspectives on the series. And they were just a funny duo. And I'm not saying Nate isn't funny on his own. I think Nate's kind of like his biggest strength as a content creator is that he is pretty funny. I'm not quite as funny. Like I think I am funny, but I'm not as funny as Nate. I'll just put it out there on Front Street. I think I might be better at like analysis than Nate, but I don't know. I'll let you guys decide on that, whatever. But like, it's just like part of the reason why I started doing my own One Piece show is because A, I'm reading it every week. I'm trying to turn my hobbies into content because, fuck it, why not? I've always wanted to do that kind of shit. But another thing is like, there's no one kind of representing like what I like about like kind of analyzing and like discussing One Piece and having fun with the series in a way that I think is like doing it doing it justice, or doing it in the way that I would like to be seen. Where in the past, like people like the Podcast, I think did have like, even if they were kind of dumb sometimes or they were forgetful sometimes, I think like they were pretty comprehensive, and like it was because there was like that tag team duo between Nate and Gib. And then there were also guys like Craftsdwarf, which were covering things more often. But like, and Morge was all right too, but Morge is completely like, I think there was this guy named O'Hara who was like kind of did a podcast with Morge. Those guys have all gone down like the theory hellscape. I don't give a fuck about those guys. Nate has gone like full doomer. Like it's still funny to like watch Nate like fucking spurg out about shit sometimes, but like for me it's just like I need something with like a little bit more meat on the bones. And that's kind of why I was like, I went the full Thanos route. I was like, hey, if you want something done, do it yourself kind of shit. So, I'll let you guys decide if, that's the niche I'm filling, but whatever. That's kind of like what I'm going for. It's like, I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to, rib on Oda a little bit. He can be hacked sometimes. I'm not trying to say he's not. But like, I'm just, I like to, talk about things I like and like drill into like what I think. Like, even if there's something I don't like, I like to drill into like, what I think the guy, like what I think Oda's trying to do as like an author. So like, even if there's something like, I'm not vibing with this, but like, what is Oda trying to do? And like, that's, I'm kind of trying to have like an intellectual conversation, but also just have fun with it, fucking make fun of Hackta a little bit. So there's a balance, and not a lot of people I think are hitting that balance in the way that I want to see. Anyway, got some comments. Let's read them before we get down into the chapter here. I'm super excited, dude. Honestly, like One Piece went on break at just the right time for me because I had just I've been doing like streaming and like content creation for the past like 6 months or so. I did like a full let's play on my YouTube channel of Elden Ring. I finally finished that in June as well. So like for me, One Piece going on break kind of coincided with like me also sort of burning out on like doing like regular content creation, even if it was like kind of like low effort content. I'm not gonna lie and say I wasn't making video essays for 6 months. I do got some video essays coming up though, so keep an eye on my main channel if you aren't subscribed. Link is in the shit. I'll post it there or something. It's on my Twitch channel. You can see it. But essentially, I got like some more scripted content, some other shit coming up that isn't just like off the cuff. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so like One Piece going on break came at the perfect time for me because I really needed a fucking break from just all this shit. So I kind of needed like to kind of reconnect with friends, like had some doctor's appointments. My life got a little busy right around like the time Oda went on break. So for me, this break time has been like much needed, but I'm happy it's back. I'm excited to talk with you guys about it a little bit. So let's read some comments before we get into the chapter here. True, this is an anti-Nate space. Yeah, fuck Nate. This is the anti-Nate hangout for sure. Okay. Yeah, you know what's funny is I always like compare Nate. So Nate's always like talking about like he loves like classic Piece and he hates new Piece, right? So for me, like I loved the Podcast. Like the Podcast was like one of my favorite podcasts of all time. And then Nate literally kiboshed that just to do his own like fucking shitty stream show. And I'm not even trying to hate on Nate too much. Like I do a lot in the Discords, in the Talking Pirates Discord server and whatever. Nate's funny. Like he's trying to be entertaining. I can't blame the guy. It is what it is. But for me, it's just like I see Talking Pirates as the new Piece version of the Podcast. So for me, I long for the good old days. I long for the good old days of the Podcast. And I like basically Talking Pirates is just new Piece to me. So that's my hot take. Apparently, Nate has had some really cringy takes lately. Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Honestly, it's not even that. Like, I recently watched like The Reverie or whatever. I had it on the background while I was working today. And goddamn, bro, One Piece tubers are absolute dumbasses. There goes any chance I ever have, with me with like my 30, not even 30 followers, like of ever getting invited. There was no chance I was ever going to get invited anyway, but it was just like, I'm not saying there aren't smart people in there. Most of those people are absolute dumbasses though. Let's just be real. All right. Nate was filtered by Buggy Piece. That was hilarious. Honestly, I the only time I ever tune into Talking Pirates is when he's doing an SBS read-through, because like I was specifically waiting for that one moment where Nate was trying to where like Nate would run into the thing about Jinbei being replaced as the dad of the Straw Hats, because I knew that was going to piss him off so fucking much, and it did not disappoint. I should clip that. That was genuinely hilarious, and it did not disappoint at all. The Podcast was Nate seething all the time and Gib being okay. Honestly, dude, Nate changed. Like, believe me, dude, I have several episodes, like probably like 100 episodes of the Podcast, like just downloaded onto my phone as like MP3s, because they used to have like a Google Drive and you could just download them all. Listening to like the Whole Cake Island podcast, Nate is like way more positive than he is now. He changed, like Nate like literally changed because he, at some point along the way, he saw people being not critical enough of One Piece and basically became like a One Piece reactionary and just like completely changed the way he viewed and talked about the series right around the time that like Wano started. Like, he went from being, like, pretty positive, like, honestly, I would say, like, mostly positive, to, like, predominantly negative, like, right around that time. He became, like, the Seed Lord, and honestly, yeah, like, it's really interesting to see, like, you can actually, like, kind of, like, chart, like, like, Nate's perspective on the series, and just on the way to, like, critically discuss One Piece, changing as the podcast continues. It's hilarious. Yeah, it's really funny. I would recommend honestly, the podcast was a great show. I recommend going back and listening to it, even if it's so far in the past. It's just a fun show, man. I go back and listen to it sometimes, not all the time, but occasionally. Okay, Nate needed Gib to ground him, otherwise he gets filtered by literally everything Oda does. Kinda, yeah, man, pretty much. Ego says, yeah, nobody can hold Nate back from seething. Morge's old analysis videos are decent. Morge's arc analysis videos were good. Like, I found the way I found Morge was from his Whole Cake Island analysis video. And, like, that was a fine video. Like, that was just genuinely a good, like, art. Like, he does good, like, Morge is at his best when he's viewing the series in retrospect and analyzing, like, stuff that has already happened. Morge's theories are all garbage. And just generally theory tubing in general, when it comes to One Piece, is like 90% garbage. Like, there's not a lot of good stuff in there, because most of those guys they have a stake in it. They want there's like clout to I guess in the One Piece community about like your theory being right, which is stupid. It's like it should be like, hey, this is a fun theory. What do you guys think? And like it shouldn't be something that you get hung up on to the point where you're like coping and seething for like literal years about your theory not looking like it's going to come true like Morge did. So Morge kind of went off the deep end a little bit. He drank his own Kool-Aid a bit too much. Yo, it's Entim. What's up, man? Or is that something Ego said? I don't know. Oh no, Nate has soundboard. Nate does have a soundboard. I will say the soundboard is funny. It makes me want to get a soundboard, but I don't know. I don't want to copy Nate's thing. That's kind of why I do my that's kind of why, like, part of the reason why I showed my face is because, like, I like watching, like, reactions to, like, shit, just in general, like, whether it's TV shows, manga, etc. I used to watch, like, King of Lightning and Roger Space. I don't really watch, like, I'll occasionally, like, catch up with King of Lightning every once in a while, because he's funny. But, like, I don't really watch those guys anymore. But, like, I thought, you know, if I could, you know, do some sort of format between, like, discussion, analysis, and, like, kind of, like, genuine reaction, like first, you know, initial reaction type of stuff for One Piece. I thought that'd be like a good mix of like this type of One Piece content that I personally would want to watch. So that's kind of why I do the show the way I do it. Nate's gamer rage is his character trait. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that is Nate's gimmick at this point. I don't begrudge him for going with it, because it is funny. Like, Nate's biggest strength as a content creator is that I think he's genuinely pretty funny. I cannot, like, you know, I respect him for, like, being funny and having good, like, comedic timing, while also just, like, talking off the cuff. And, like, I strive to be similar in, like, just, like, you know, being able to, like, kind of have, like, good charisma and be funny. So Nate's got that down, and, you know, good on him. Yeah, I remember him saying Whole Cake Island was confirmation that OP was still based some years ago now. Yeah, dude, like, he really likes Whole Cake Island, which is really interesting, because I also, like, Whole Cake Island's one of, like, my top, like, probably my top 3 arcs. It's in my top 3. And One Piece arcs, rather. And I do like it much better than I like Wano, but I don't think Wano is bad. I don't know. Well, we can get into it. We'll see. Honestly, who knows? Maybe this chapter will change my mind. I really need to start reading the chapter. I'm just trying to get through all the comments before I do. Appreciate you guys tuning in and hanging out, though. It's good to see so many people hopping in, you know, just as we get back to One Piece. On the topic of theory tubing, oh god, what is this? Let's see what we got here, my man. All right, Control C. What is this video? Is this going to make me cringe and die? Okay, this is 54 minutes long. It's called Why Carrot Will Get a Broken DF and Bring the Dawn of the World. Twilight Bunny. Oh, I've seen people talk about this. Yeah. Interesting. I will maybe watch it later. Probably not. I might watch like the first like 5 minutes and see if I like it, and then choose if I want to watch the rest of it. The podcast might be the reason Whole Cake is my favorite arc. It's honestly probably a big part of the reason why it's one of mine, because I remember like finding the podcast towards the back half of Whole Cake Island, and it was like, it just was like super, it was like a good companion piece to the series. I don't know if I could say the same for Talking Pirates. Talking Pirates, if you listen in, you're gonna go from liking One Piece to either liking it less or just like being annoyed that Nate is like nitpicking all the time. But I don't know, you might have some good laughs. I'm not trying to wean anyone off of Nate's teat here, but you know, this is just my perspective. Like I think you know, Nate used to have a more well-rounded appreciation of One Piece. He's kind of become like a bit of a one-trick pony in his criticisms of the series, in my opinion. But, you know, I probably, if the podcast never existed, I would never have started doing this show. So it's because that ship has sailed that I started sailing my ship. So I appreciate him for that at the very least. Besides it being amazing, of course, yes. Literal Carrot will become Buddha and rule the world theory. Fuck. That's the stupidest theory I've ever heard. But okay. Alright, guys. Without further ado, let's get into this fucking chapter, man. What was the last thing that happened in One Piece? It was something related to Green Bull. He was coming through to the flower capital. He was creating plants behind him. He killed a bunch of beast pirates. That was interesting. That was kind of neat. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this chapter at long last. So we got Luffy. We got Luffy on the cover. He's looking good. He's looking great. I don't know who this motherfucker is. He looks like that. I have no idea. I have no idea what this really is. This Spy X Family? Do you guys know if this is Spy X Family? I have no fucking clue. Oh god. All right, One Piece time. Oh, we got the boys. We got the big boys over here. We got Buggy, we got Shanks, and we got Black Boy and White Boy. Arnika's over here. Okay, so are we... Okay. Oh, fuck. I slapped my balls by accident. I meant to slap my knee, but I slapped my fucking nuts. That sucks. Okay. God damn it. So we got... so I'm curious if this chapter will go into, like, how the fuck Buggy became a Yonko. Like, I'm fine with Buggy being a Yonko is hilarious, and I'm all for it. Ow, fuck, my fucking nuts. Jesus. But I'm just, like, curious as to, like, why and, like, how. It's not the end of the... Like, if Oda just decides to not explain it, I'll be okay with that. But I am curious, you know? I just want to know. That's all. I'm just curious. That's all. Either way, even if it's just, like, we like Buggy, he's funny. That's why we made him the Yonko. I'll be fine with that. Like, that's good enough for me. Sour says, nutshot. Yep. All the Yonko have a base smile besides Shanks, who has a lame smirk. Yeah, Shanks is looking like a bitch with his dumbass, smoldering ass, looking ass, dumbass. Yeah, anyway. The Four Emperors, Oda, Ichiro. This is a great cover page. I love these boys. These are like the best characters in One Piece right here. Besides Shanks. Fuck that guy. We haven't seen enough of Shanks to qualify him to be one of the best boys. So, anyway. Flower Capital, Wano. Conflict stirs amid the festivities. Denjiro, you too? We can't trouble Luffy and the others with this. Follow us, Cat. Follow us, Cat. Who the fuck is Cat? Huh? The ability to sway others. That really is something you don't see very often. So, the ability to sway others, that's something... so Green Bull's looking like a badass. He's shredded. He's got a cool tattoo of some kanji on the side of his torso there. Looking pretty cool. Looking pretty intimidating. I'm excited. He reminds me of the guy from Princess Mononoke, that, like, deer that walks through the woods. The one that, like, kind of, like, creates life and then, like, the life leaves the area. Like, it creates life with every step, but then the life, like, leaves the... Like, it grows and decays in a single motion in, like, just a few seconds, essentially. It reminds me... Like, Green Bull reminds me of that, which is cool. I can appreciate that. So it looks like Denjiro and some of the scabbards might meet this guy in combat just to, like, not have to bother Luffy with it. Obviously, Luffy's gonna see what's going on and get involved. But what's interesting is the ability to sway others. That really is something you don't see very often. So it's kind of interesting that Green Bull says that, because do you guys remember during the War of the Best, the Paramount War, the Marineford's arc or whatever, what's his name? Mihawk sees Luffy, and him and Luffy have, like, a little, like, spar or whatever. Luffy ends up getting kind of, like, rescued by Vista. He, like, has, like, all these guys, like, running with him and, like, kind of covering for him and shit. And Mihawk says, like, that boy has the power, like, basically the most, like, feared power. Like, he what did he say? He said something along the lines of, like, Luffy has the most, like, frightening power on the sea, and that's that he can, like, win people's hearts. Like, he can get people to, like, kind of follow him. And that is, like, and, like, you know, fucking trust him and, like, you know, vibe with him and go along with him. And, like, to Mihawk, he's like, that is the most fearsome power on the seas. So it looks like Green Bull has recognized this in Luffy as well, which is interesting. It's an interesting callback to that sort of, that thing that Mihawk brought up about Luffy specifically. Ego says, Shanks is the best. He's so cool. Buggy has that too. Buggy does have that too. That's a good point. Buggy he's also, like, charismatic and inspires people, even though he does it by being a piece of shit, which is almost even more impressive. All right. So we got Green Bull coming through, and we got some scabbards who are coming here to meet him. They are going to get fucked up, probably. You samurai should buzz off while you can. Okay. Looking like a fucking Western up in here, looking like a true, I want to say Mexican standoff. I don't know if that's the term, but that's what I'm going with. The power to win people's hearts was actually Nika. Oh, God. Nika still haunts us to this very day, ruining One Piece chapter by chapter by making us second guess everything. Okay, I can't exactly cover the left half of the screen, so I'm just going to put my hand up so I don't see what's going on. A Marine, one of Luffy's enemies from overseas. Okay, so is this going to be like what happened when Kuma showed up at the end of Thriller Bark? It seems a little different because everyone should be it's been 7 days since the raid. Everyone should be more or less healed, right? I guess we'll see what happens. Maybe this will be a big fucking deal. This guy looks pretty fucking fired up, Green Bull over here. Do any of you have the first clue about the ways of the outside world? No one gives a fuck, dude. You don't crash a party and say some shit like that. The Celestial Dragons are gods. A country like this, one with no ties to the world government, has no standing. So this guy is fucking fired up. He really is an Akainu simp. He really wants that biscuit from Akainu. He really wants that attaboy from Akainu. And that, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, the guy has like a cool look. He's got cool powers. He's got a cool vibe. But like, I don't know. I hope he has a bit more personality than just being an Akainu simp. If that's all there is to this dude, I don't know. I don't know if I like him very much. Has no standing. Don't be mad. It's how the world works. So he's already like fucking shooting branches and vines at these guys. These guys like Nekomamushi cutting that shit up. He's got fucking fists growing out of the ground. He puts his fists into the ground. He's getting all swole as fuck. This panel is fucking cool though, with the fucking trees and shit growing. This guy's basically doing that first Hokage shit, flexing forest muscle. So this guy's all about this. Basically, I know he's got the glasses. He's like the best guy ever. You know, he's the best guy ever. This is Nate. This is Nate in One Piece being a fucking fascist, simping for Akainu, flexing his muscles, which is just not, his muscles, quote unquote. The forest fruit made me a forest man. Based. My Logia power is nature incarnate, a source of life that rivals the seas. Damn, that's actually pretty based. Sounds like bulging muscles. So we're gonna see this guy's bulge confirmed. But uses kanji for forbidden hatred for us. So this guy is basically kind of helping them in a way because he's like Wano has been desolate and like basically like laid barren by the way Kaido has like treated the fucking country or whatever. It's basically, it used to be a verdant paradise. Now it is like a fucking wasteland. This guy's gonna like inadvertently make it all like better by like having this fight right now. Cool, man. Good on you. So he's simping for Akainu. He's simping for the Celestial Dragons. He's a piece of shit. He looks like that dude from fucking Fairy Tail, that fucking tree dude. You guys know who I'm talking? I don't fucking care. No one cares about Fairy Tail. That shit sucks. Anyway. These guys are dancing. It's time you learn a hard truth. Humanity only got this far by enforcing hierarchies. Okay. So he's talking about something that okay. This might be interesting, actually. This guy's so fired up, he might actually spill some beans about, like, kind of like the motivation of, like, the world government, which would kind of be neat. Like, because we've been looking for, like, why do they think what they're doing is right? You know, like that's something I've wondered for a while. So I'm curious if they're going to bring it up. So we got a couple comments. Nika Nee, says Sour. Return of the Nika seed. Yes, we're not done with that. I'll be honest. I don't hate Nika as much as some people do. The thing, I like the powers. I don't even mind that the devil fruit was secretly something else. I think that is a reasonable, like, twist, to be honest. I know some people might disagree. It's the implications of, it being, like, it impacting, like, the fact that, like, not Logias, what's it called, devil fruits? God damn it, we just had a whole arc about them, Zoans. Zoan devil fruits having the ability to, like, kind of having a will of their own and impacting someone's personality, like, or apparently, is what I don't like. because obviously I want Luffy to have agency. And even if Luffy had a different fruit the whole time, that doesn't necessarily take away his agency. If the power, and like him just misunderstanding it as like, oh, it's the Gumu Gumu because the powers work like that, that's fine with me. I don't really care about that. For me, it's all like, I want Luffy to still be the same guy because of him being the way he is, which I think is still true. But like the Zoan fruits having a personality of their own, a mind of their own, does kind of call that into question a little bit, which I'm not a huge fan of. And then the other thing is that, why did the Gorosei only reveal this now? My guess is that it had something to do with Eam. Like, my guess is that when Eam was going to speak to them during the Reverie period, he only revealed it to them at that point in time. That's my guess. My guess is that they didn't know before, and that's why they only brought it up now. But I don't know. We just have to find out. That could be headcanon, so don't take it with a grain of salt. But the thing is, like, I like the powers. The only thing I don't like about the powers is that Luffy, who was getting, like, basically knocked out every time Kaido did a Thunder Bagua on him, all of a sudden can survive, like, as many Thunder Baguas as Kaido could dish out to the head, with basically, like, not receiving any damage. It's like, what are the limitations of this power? That's what I want to know. Like, because it seems at this point there's really no limitations to it, and I guess that's kind of the point. But, like, for there to be stakes, there has to be limitations. So I want to know what those are. I like the cartoony nature of it, but, like, we need some more information on, like, if you could just take, like, 1 billion clubs to the face from the strongest guy in the world, what can't he survive? Who can beat this man? The answer to that is someone who can steal his devil fruit. Hint, hint, Blackbeardo. Come on in and fucking level this man. I hope Blackbeard steals the fruit at this point. Akainu is super effective against him. He has no choice. Yeah, that's true. Yamato, nothing happened moment. Oh yeah, that shit could happen. That'd be interesting. Lamau, Pokemon type advantages. True. Just like Nate, Green Bull can't help himself from screaming about how racist he is. True, Entium, true. That's pretty much, yeah. This is Nate in One Piece. A true Aryan god, as Nate would say himself. Anyway, prejudice breeds stability. Okay, sorry. It's time you learned a hard truth. Humanity only got this far by enforcing hierarchies. We've got to put non-affiliated nations like yours in their place. That order is what keeps life going. Okay, so he's trying to bring Wano into the fold. That's, okay, that's interesting. I guess they just sent one dude to make that happen. You'd think they'd send a fucking army, but I guess they thought this one guy might be, or he actually went there on his own. He was not sent there, because he said, don't tell, like, I think he told, like, the guy he was calling on the Denden Mushi, don't tell Akainu what I'm up to. He's trying to do this to, like, garner favor with Akainu. He really is, like, the biggest, the biggest fucking bootlicker on the face of the planet. So, I like his tenacity. Not really vibing with the motivations yet. I want to see more from you than just, I am a fucking bootlicker. So give me a little bit more, buddy. A little bit more. Prejudice breeds stability. Alright, so he's turning into a full-on tree man. This looks cool as fuck, and it's cool to see the Scabbards actually putting up a damn fight. That's awesome. Like, I was expecting these guys to get wrecked immediately. It looks like they're actually doing their best. And Yamato comes in. Holy shit, okay. No laws would be broken if you all died here. Rahaha, you can go ahead and try to stop me. I'll butcher thousands of your people. Jesus, bro. I mean, the guy looks fucking cool. Like, the power looks sick. I can't deny that. And the Scabbards fighting him looks really fucking cool. If that's what it takes to get Straw Hat Luffy, I'll say this guy just, like, turning into, like, a giant, like, tangled mess of, like, trees, like a forest incarnate, like a mad forest, that's already kind of as impressive as anything Kaido ever did. Like, this guy is, like, already, like, power-wise, impressing me a lot. Like, he seems pretty intimidating. We already know he basically took out, like, most of the Beast Pirates. Here comes Yamato to fuck him up. Every word you just said, ugh, makes me sick. Fuck yeah. So Yamato's all about freedom. She's wanted freedom from her father. She's not going to let the country they just liberated from Kaido be taken over again by this fucking asshole. You kidding me? By this upstart? By this piece of shit? This bootlicker? Motherfucker? Not a fucking chance. Ugh, makes me sick. Man, that hurt. That's some hockey you've got there. Cool. So Yamato's able to fight this guy, as you'd expect. I'm going to go with he for Yamato, because she bathed with the dudes. She said she goes by he earlier. I'm going to go with he for now. I will stand corrected if that changes. I just kind of default to he, or to she a lot of times in my brain because big titties. But I'm going to go with he for now. These people went through 20 years of... I thought that said a derogatory term for trans people. 20 years of tranny. No, 20 years of tyranny. Now they're finally able to celebrate their liberty. No way am I letting you spoil that. Who are you supposed to be? Huff, huff. Yamato Dono. So I bet Yamato's going to get a bounty after this. So this is going to be what sets Yamato on course to join the Straw Hats, because she's going to get a bounty, so she won't be able to stay here because she's fighting against this tree boy. I'm Yamato, Kaido's son. Kaido's. Well said, Yamato. Oh, is this fucking, holy shit. What? Momo's about to do a blast breath? Shit. I didn't know he could do that shit. That's awesome. Okay, we got a couple comments. He was told to come to Wano, but not do anything. Oh, right. He was just told to, like, assess the situation. That's true. Oh, wait, hold on. So, Ego says... Sorry, I missed some comments. Wait, hold up. I think since it was the first showcase of Gear 5, it got to look super strong. Yeah, you're probably right. Kind of how Gear 4 absolutely fucked Doffy for the first time we saw it. That's true. I do think that Gear 5 fucking Doffy was to show that, like Luffy, when he's going all out, was, like, just a cut above Doffy. I think that's kind of, like, what Oda was trying to convey. Like, Doffy's really strong, but when Luffy goes all out, like, Doffy just isn't a factor. Kind of, is how I figured, like, because it basically set it up for, like, the Yonko arc that we've just had, like, because then Luffy struggled much more when using Gear 4th against, like, fucking Biscuit Boy and Mochi Man, so, you know, so I think the idea was that, like, he can, like, fucking tangle with the best of the Shichibukai, when he's using Gear 4th. In fact, he's, like, a cut above them, but even against, like, Yonko commanders, like, Gear 4th can only, you know, carry him so far. That was my interpretation of that anyway. But that makes sense. I vibe with it. Like, it's all that the new powers always look strongest the first time they're used. So that is a good point. He was told to come to Wano but not to do anything. Yes. This man misgendered my boy Yamato. Tisk tisk. True. I shouldn't have done that. You, Odin, titty power. Let's go. You, Odin. Fuck. Can't type. You're Odin. Not a boy. Odinkin. Okay. I'll just call Yamato Odin for now. Now, I'm fine with doing he for the time being, just because he bathed with the boys. For me, that was confirmation enough for now, until we get something that kind of, you know, flies in the face of that. He still says, I'm Yamato Kaido's son. I assume that is a solid translation. I'm going to go with he for the time being. If y'all don't like that, sorry, I don't know what to tell you. All right, well said, Yamato. And we have no intention of permitting you to lay a finger on our recovering heroes. Dude, fuck yeah. So Momo's actually taking part in the battle. That's actually fucking hype. Blast breathu. Just a cough. A cough of fire. My man has a bad case of the Rona going on at the moment, so he does a little coof. Okay. That's too bad. I was hoping he was going to do something cool. But honest, I'm not, like, I wasn't, he's there for the intimidation factor. We all know that. So everyone's celebrating, huh? Momonosuke-sama. What's he gonna do to fucking... Wait, what's happening? Okay, so Momo is really being the one to, like, stand up to Green Bull. That's fucking base, dude. Momo's, like, honestly, probably... Like, we were having a conversation in, either it was the Pod 2 Discord or the what's it called? The Talking Pirates Discord server. But what was interesting, a little queef, yeah. But what was interesting is that I remember, this was like sometime over the past month. I don't know when this conversation happened, but it was talking about how like, because Vivi for so long was kind of like the gold standard of like an arc character that like we really vibed with. But like, I think someone has said, and I totally agree with this, that I like the like kind of like point of view characters in Wano more than I've ever liked any point of view characters in the entire series. Like Momo and Kinemon specifically, I like way more than Vivi, way more than Wiper, way more than like fucking the people in Water 7, like Polly and those guys. Like I fuck so much harder with like Kinemon and Momo than I do with those guys. And like I like the other Scabbards as well. Like, I think the Scabbards as a group, as like a crew, is cool. They didn't all get their time to shine. Some of them did, some of them didn't. Raizo was based. I have my problems with how, what's his name was handled. Denjiro was handled. But he was still pretty based. His back muscles were fucking sick, so that was cool. Shura was cool, and some of the other guys were cool too. But yeah, like I like specifically Kinemon, specifically Momo are like the best like arc protagonists, in my opinion, that we've like ever had in the entirety of One Piece. And that's why Wano is still like, despite all of its problems, is still like a really solid arc, is because Oda just like knocked it out of the park with that specific element. There were other things about this arc that were great too, but specifically like the arc characters, I fucking like felt it, man. I felt their shit. I felt their plight, and I like especially Momo and like how he's come into his own and become like a fucking leader and a fucking badass, despite how like relatively weak and scared he is. Like he is sacrificed so like Momo's the best, dude. I fucking love Momo. And seeing him fucking stand up against an admiral, holy shit, dude. What a fucking badass, dude. This is based as fuck. No matter I will still drive you from the capital. Be gone. No one will ever bring dread and terror at our people again. Fuck yeah, Momo. Fuck yeah. Don't let this motherfucker, this upstart the bootlicker piece of shit, roll in on your turf after you've just liberated all your homies. No, fuck no, man. Get this asshole out of here. I don't give a fuck about the admirals. Get him the fuck out of here. So no one will ever bring dread and terror to our people again. I vowed that I would not allow it. A pink dragon, how odd. This is the first I've heard of this ability. All right, so we got a couple comments. I think Momo has gotten really good over the last few years. Yeah, Momo started as like a little bitch baby, but that's the thing. I think Nate Bestman said it in the podcast episode about it was the Katakuri versus Luffy fight where Katakuri, I think, like stabbed Luffy and then realized that it was unfair and then stabbed himself. And this is part of the reason why I like the podcast. A lot of great quotable moments. I think he said something along the lines of, the best Chads are the Chads who were once betas. And that's what Katakuri is. That's also what Momo is. Momo is a Chad who was once a beta, and that's what makes him such a based boy. And we love him. We love to see it. We'd love to see, a scaredy cat and a little pussy baby grow into a fucking badass who, fights despite being afraid, who fights despite his weakness. What about Momo is like an Usopp correlate. Like Momo is like as badass as Usopp has ever been, and I love Usopp. So he's one of my favorite Straw Hats. So yeah, Momo's been a real fucking badass, and seeing him kind of like come around and be this fucking leader and this fucking epic motherfucker, despite being such a weak pissy boy, is fucking so satisfying. Okay, so now this guy's strangling Momo. You're in my way. Wah! Momonosuke-kun! Yamato, stay out of this. What? Shit, is this gonna be Momo's moment to shine? Oh my god, no way, dude. No fucking way. What is he gonna do? Shanks is pulling up? Are you fucking joking me, dude? What? Bro, is this arc just like gonna keep going? Is Shanks like actually gonna be like a part of the arc and like save them or some shit? No way. That can't be, right? This has got to be like them. They're probably just checking in too. Like they're gonna maybe. But wait, hold on. If Shanks pulls up to Wano, what the fuck is gonna happen? Because Kid has a grudge against Shanks. Someone on either Shanks himself or someone on Shanks' crew cut off Kid's arm. He's not gonna let this motherfucker walk out without like trying his hand at him. His single hand. Poor Kid has to either. He only has one hand. Imagine I hope he wasn't a lefty before he got that shit cut off, because probably sucks to to jerk it with a metal fucking arm. But whatever. The seas around Wano, it's surreal. But he's really considered one now. Oh, shit. It's time for Shanks and the boys. Luffy is finally at the pedigree. Because, like, he was like, come see us again. Come return the hat when you've become a great pirate. Luffy's become a fucking Yonko now. He's beaten a Yonko, one of Shanks' rivals. Shanks is coming through to see him now. Holy shit, dude. Whoa. It's surreal, but he's really considered one now. Let's go, boss. Luffy's become a great pirate. Whoa, dude. I did not expect this to happen here. I expected them to, like, run into each other at, like, Elbaf or something. Or maybe, like God Valley or some shit. Or Lodestar. I did not expect this to happen in Wano. Holy fuck. Okay. Do you not remember Karoo? Oh, wait, hold on. Okay, that's a good point. I think Momo... Okay, what is this anti-Vivi propaganda? I'm sorry, Ego, but someone's got to speak the truth. Listen, I like Vivi. I'm not saying Vivi's bad. I like Momo and Kinemon significantly more at this point. Sorry, dude. And there's a lot of people out there who agree with me. Not everybody, and that's fine. That's fine, but, like, I think the biggest strength of Wano is that, like, Oda somehow got me so invested in these boys. The Scabbards as a whole, but also specifically Momo and specifically Kinemon. Karoo is based. Karoo's pretty good. He's a top contender for sure. I can't deny that. She will return. I'm excited for Vivi's return. She does have a chance to edge her way ahead of the boys. Do I think she's going to? In my mind, in my heart, no. But I'm open to it. I'm open to Vivi proving herself as the crew member that could have been once again when she returns. Having one arm save Kid's life, though. That's true. That is true. Actually, I forgot about that with the Killer and Hawkins fight. Also, I saw someone say Killer actually lived up to his name this arc because he actually caught a body. Good on him. He can just use oil as lube. That's a good point. He does have a lot of fucking like what's it called? I don't even know. Oil as lube. There's a joke in there somewhere. Fuck it. It'll come back to me. Okay, so these guys are going to Wano. Holy shit. I did not expect that. All right, this takes me back. Last time I was here, we were all giving Odin-san a send-off. Oh shit, yeah, he was on the ship for that. Momo and Hiyori must be all grown up by now. He knows them too. Fuck. Boss, let's go see Luffy already. So we got Lucky Roo, we got Bonk Punch, we got Yasop, who's looking all kinds of fucked up. Looks like he just got punched in the face, dude. And then we got Animal, Beast, Monkey Man, I forget this guy's name. Boss, let's go see Luffy already. He really is something now. Hang on, I'm not ready to meet Usopp yet. The deadbeat returns, and he's not ready for it. He's not prepared. He's not emotionally prepared to reunite with his son. Kid's here too, right? It hasn't been that long since that brat tried to pick a fight with us. Oh shit. Look at this. Fuck, man. Kid's here. They even brought up Kid. I was kind of expecting that to get, like, ignored. Because Kid's kind of like, we like Kid, but he's a bit more of a minor character, all things considered. But they actually brought that shit the fuck up. Holy fuck. Okay. Look at this. So he sees Monkey D. Luffy with that 3 billion bounty. It's Red Hair's ship. Seems like they've got CP9 agents on board. What a pain. Oh, so this is before they even met Luffy. So this is a flashback to how they got the Nika fruit. Holy fuck, okay. Who cares? Let's go. So they're attacking this pirate ship. We got... Is this our boy? Is this our boy, fucking, Who's Who? Such a stupid name. I wonder if he had, like, a different name before he took on the moniker Who's Who. What are they after? It's not like we've got any proper treasure. Only some minor devil fruit. What's the big deal? Isn't it just the one that makes you rubbery? Okay, so it sounds like what this is implying is that Shanks knew that the fruit was more than the Gumu Gumu, which you know, I have mixed feelings about it. Didn't seem like that was the case early on, but whatever. I'm not gonna nitpick it too hard. At least not yet. We'll see what happens. So this is them flashing back to them robbing that ship. They go to fucking, what's this village called again? That Luffy grew up in. Is it Fuchsia? No, Fuchsia was Nami's village, right? Or no, Fuchsia was Usopp's village. Fuck, I forget. I don't remember. Whatever. So Luffy's hanging out with these boys. That's cute, adorable. Luffy and Shanks chilling the fuck out. The Lord of the Coast. Shanks with a smile, losing his arm, giving it to the new generation, as he put it. I guess the top officers have a past with him. They really know the Straw Hat Luffy. So these are like new boys, huh? They really know the Straw Hat Luffy? They're like talking about him. He's a legend. That's kind of interesting. They say he's like a rampaging demon monkey. Who the fuck? This motherfucker looks like a rampaging demon monkey. Who's he to talk? He's totally out of hand. I'm not planning to have a reunion with Luffy here. Oh shit, okay. So he's just stopping by to do what then? What? Don't you remember what's going on in our own backyard? So there's something going on in their territory. It must have something to, does it have something to do with Bartolomeo? Because Bartolomeo attacked their shit. Attacked their island. I wonder if that's going to come up. Because that, like, I almost completely forgot about that shit. Alright, he can just use, Usopp was syrup. Oh yeah, Usopp was syrup. It's interesting because it seems that Shanks attacked the marine ship just for the hell of it. Honestly, I would be fine with that. I'd be fine if they attacked just for fun. They were just fucking with the marine ships. But you gotta remember that there is in the Odin flashback, when, like, Shanks didn't go with them to Raftel, but when he came back, he asked, apparently he asked Roger a question, and when Roger answered it, Shanks, like, wept. And we don't know what that's about. And it's possible that Roger passed something on to Shanks, like passed him on like a task or something. We just don't know. It's possible though. It's possible something could be there. I don't know how to feel about it either way. Would it be the end of the world if Shanks was looking for this devil fruit specifically? I personally, I don't think so. But we'll see. It all depends on how it's executed. That's how I feel. It all depends on how it's executed. It doesn't make things inherently worse, in my personal opinion. But we'll see what happens. I'm not planning to have a reunion with Luffy here. What? The only thing that needs to remain the same is that Shanks needs... Like, the thing is that Luffy ate the fruit when no one was looking, and they didn't mean for him to eat it. So that needs to stay the same. They need to make it so that Luffy wasn't supposed to eat the fruit, but he ate it because, like, they weren't fucking looking, and that's why they freaked out about it. As long as that stays the same, I'm fine with everything else. With it being, like, a magic fruit that they knew was important. Like, I'm okay with that. I'm not planning to have a reunion with Luffy here. What? Don't you remember what's going on in our own backyard? Oh yeah, that brat guy claimed he was under Luffy. Oh yeah. I love that they're bringing that up. He put his mark up after burning down our flag. We'd be failing our duties if we just let that slide. Well, I guess. Ben Beckman, man. This guy's got, like, I just love Ben Beckman's character design. I've always liked it. Even, like, in Romance Dawn, he's always looked really fucking cool to me. And his character design has only gotten cooler as, like, the series. It's so simple, but he just looks, like, so fucking cool. So these guys are having a drink. Hey, Beck, isn't it about time to go and claim it? The One Piece? Sorry. I had to pog there for a second. What? So Shanks really is after the One Piece, and he's just been, like, sitting on it? What do you mean? Is it about time we go and claim it? What is that? What was stopping you for the last, like, 40 years, dude? What was keeping you from doing it for this long? Hey, Beck, isn't it about time to go and claim it? The One Piece. So does that mean, does this motherfucker have all 4 road poneglyphs? Has he had it the whole fucking time? What the fuck? What the fuck? What does this mean? What does this mean? Like, this is like a bit, this is a lot. So wait, well, I mean, it would make sense that Shanks would, like, of all the people who would know where the One Piece is, Shanks is the person who was close, he was close with Gold Roger. It makes sense that he would know, and that he'd be able to find his way there. I don't know if he had, like Roger had rubbings of all the road poneglyphs, so like maybe he just gave him the Shanks, and now Shanks. But why didn't Shanks do this before? We need an explanation for that at the very least. At the very least, we need an explanation for that. Why was he just chilling? Why didn't he get it earlier? Was it because someone else is guarding the islands? Is there like was he missing road poneglyphs that like Big Mom or Kaido had? Like, did he not have did like Roger not pass on the road poneglyphs to him? That would be fine. I'd be fine if that was the explanation, just because like, you know, like I don't know. Like it would be okay with me if Shanks maybe wanted to go through the journey himself because he was like just a cabin boy at the time. I'd be okay with that. But we'll see. But the shit, he's saying the shit. He said the thing. That's the name of the manga. He just said. Pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. Holy shit, man. This chapter. Fuchsia is Luffy. Thank you, Ego. I appreciate that. Okay, hold on. We got some comments here. Usopp with syrup. It's interesting because it seems that Shanks attacked them. Okay, yeah. Already read that. But it's still open to him knowing somehow. I'm fine with him knowing. Like I said, Fuchsia is Luffy. Shanks could know shit, but he is also like Luffy, so he does stuff on a whim. That's fine too. I'm fine either way. Like the main thing I want is, as long as they don't retcon it that like Shanks wanted to give Luffy the fruit, because we just know that wasn't the case. Like, that's the main thing that needs to stay the same. Is that like Luffy just accidentally was like, oh cool, a fruit, and just ate it. Because for me, that's like in the spirit of One Piece of just shit happens. Like, that's the kind of series One Piece is. Shit happens. I don't want Shanks to be like him going after the fruit is one thing. Him then like meaning for Luffy to accidentally eat it would be stupid. But whatever. Him making peace with it, Luffy eating it, is fine. Fuchsia is Luffy. Shanks could know shit, but he is also like, yeah, like Luffy does stuff on a whim. Shanks is very knowledgeable. Yeah, that's true. He's always been a pretty smart boy. Shanks weeping seems like it could be him learning about Roger's health. I mean, he knew about Roger's... He was on the ship. He knew about Roger's health way before that. It has to be something different. It has to be something, like, personal to Shanks, I think. Like, I don't necessarily think it was about the fruit, necessarily, but it has to be something personal to Shanks. Like, there's no way... like, Roger's health was already, like, a well-known thing. That's the reason they recruited Odin in the first place. Pretty much, as far as I'm aware, pretty much most of the crew knew about that. But I could be wrong. Shanks shows up, smirks, vaguely hints at the future, leaves. Classic Shanks being a fucking cock tease, as he typically does. Pog Solino. Sure. Oh, me making the Pog face, yes. Unspeakably based. Shanks is picking up Buggy, and they're heading to Laughtail to finish their journey, baby! Yeah! Fuck yeah, I hope so. That's what I've been waiting on. So why is Shanks going to meet Luffy when he could be going to meet Buggy right now? That's what I really want to know. Anyway, it's fine. That whole Shanks is also really cool. Shanks page, yes. The Shanks page is great. And him being like, hey, Beck, we about to go get the One Piece, bro? Isn't it about time to go and claim it? The One Piece? So why are they outside of Wano? Like, why are they... If he doesn't want to meet Luffy, then why the fuck are they there? So is it to block, like, destroy other marine ships or something? I don't know. The whole Shanks is also really cool. Shanks page, Shanks and Buggy peace from now on. Yes, please. Okay. Alright, so let's finish this chapter up, man. Let's wrap this sucker up. Navy Headquarters, New World. We can't let the Revolutionary Army go unchecked any longer, Akainu. Oh, shit. Okay. Now we're getting into some reverie bullshit. So let's see what actually happened there. I know that, but we don't have any more Marines to deploy. The one they're calling Flame Emperor Sabo. Flame Emperor Sabo. He's become a champion for much of the world. So what happened with Sabo was he... Like, my theory a while back was that when Sabo fought the admirals to try to save Kuma, is that he was then, like, my opinion, my, like, theory was that Sabo, because we know from Blackbeard during like the in-between arc stuff, like the Act 1 in-between arc, Act 1, Act 2 in-between arc chapter, Blackbeard read the newspaper and said the captains of the Revolutionary Army have clashed with the Marine admirals, and we saw like a silhouette of Sabo and his homies, like his boys, the Karasu and Morley and that fucking weird guy who looked like a character from Overwatch or whatever, versus I think it was Green Bull and Purple Tiger, whose name I forget. Blind Admiral. And later on, we saw Blind Admiral had like bandages on him, which might imply that he was injured during that fight. Who knows? But the fact that we're seeing the admirals now, we see Green Bull right here, and we know that Fujitora made it out of that encounter, like injured, but like mostly fine. It spelled like really negative, like it made things look really ominous for Sabo. Now, a lot of people assumed that this was going to lead. What's up, Mr. Cocky? How you doing, my man? Shanksu, yes, sir. We got Shanksu back. He's going after the One Piece. Why did he wait that long? I don't know, my man. I don't fucking know, but we'll find out hopefully at some point. So, as I was saying, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so a lot of people theorized that Sabo, like Ace, was probably captured by the admirals and is going to be executed, and Luffy will have to save him just like he saved Ace. I'm really hoping that that doesn't happen, and that instead, because there was also implications from the in-between arc stuff between Act 2 and Act 3 that implied that that someone from Alabasta was assassinated, and something happened with related to the Kingdom of Alabasta, and also something happened with Sabo, but we weren't sure what. A lot of people assumed he was either pronounced dead or he was pronounced captured. My personal theory on this was that Sabo, who was blamed for attacking the Reverie, was also blamed for like trying to disrupt the peace, and was also pinned for killing Cobra, who was actually most likely just killed by like the Gorosei or Eam or somebody. They wanted Cobra dead. Like we saw in in the Reverie arc, like the short Reverie arc between Whole Cake Island and Wano, that the Gorosei were specifically talking about King Cobra and saying like the Nefertari family, those motherfuckers should have been part of the Celestial Dragons, but they defected. Those traitors, like, we have to do a great cleansing. So something is going on with Alabasta. Nefertari Cobra, presumed assassinated, probably pinned on Sabo. And my opinion is that Sabo is most likely to like kind of like live up to his moniker as like, you know, to the fact that like the world is kind of blaming him, like, at least in my opinion, for Nefertari Cobra's death. My theory was that Sabo and the other revolutionaries, just like Kuma, were captured by the admirals after they were defeated, sent to Vegapunk, and turned into, like, human weapons, just like Kuma. Kuma also being a former Revolutionary Army guy who was made an example of by being turned into a human weapon for the government. It would just make a ton of sense, and it would be different enough from the whole Ace thing to actually be interesting. And then next time we run into him, next time Luffy runs into him, it'll be a more interesting conflict than just, hey, I'm here to save my brother again. Instead, it'll be, my brother has basically been reprogrammed to be an enemy to me and the people that I care about, like Vivi and stuff. And he will have to grapple with that. And maybe he'll be able to reach his brother's humanity. Maybe he won't. Who knows? But that would be interesting. That would lead into the Vegapunk arc, or the Vegapunk-related stuff in the upcoming arcs. That would be based. I'm hoping that happens. We'll see if it happens. Hopefully Oda will either do something like that or do something better than that. But that's my current theory on the matter. We can't let the Revolutionary Army go unchecked any longer, Akainu. The one they're calling Flame Emperor Sabo, he's become a champion for much of the world. Of all the participants in the Reverie, the one that was killed was a descendant of one of the founding 20 from 800 years ago, Nefertari Cobra. Yep, so Cobra was assassinated. Sabo assassinates King Cobra. I was right. I was right. They pinned that shit on Sabo. Obviously, Sabo didn't do it, but they pinned it on Sabo. I called that shit ages ago, years ago that they pinned that shit on him. That make the most sense. Taking a W, baby. Taking a fucking W for that one. That was all me. I called that ages ago, motherfuckers. Ages ago. Watch my earlier episodes on YouTube. But yeah, I called that. I'm sure I've called that literally, like, not only like online, just in general, but specifically in one of my ChipZ Ahoy episodes, for sure, in one of my previous like chapter reaction discussion things. So check it out, rewatch that shit to fact check me, but I know I did. I'm taking credit for it. I'm sure this is of great significance for the Revolutionary Army. Revolutionary Army's Chief of Staff kills the King of Alabasta, or Arabasta, as they're saying. These fucking Japs and their LR bullshit. Pick one, damn it. Pick one. Get your shit together. Yeah, so I expected this. This makes all the sense in the world. A few hours before that, they attacked the homes of the Celestial Dragons in the Holy Land, destroying a monument of the Divine Dragon Claw and the symbol of the World Nobles. Most of this they probably didn't do. This was probably a setup by CP0 and the world government, a big ruse to pin it all on the Revolutionary Army. It was a blatant declaration of war. Interesting. Very cool. So this is what we were theorizing about. The admirals Ryokyugyu and Fujitora took charge of the Navy's defenses, but in the end, they succeeded in freeing their former comrade Bartholomew Kuma from the Celestial Dragon's slavery. I think that's a lie. I still think that this is the way they're spinning it in the media, but what actually happened is that they were captured. They're going to pretend that the revolutionaries, generals, are still operating as like independent like actors, but in reality they have like been microchipped. They've had a microchip put in their brains. Illuminati bullshit. They are being controlled by Vegapunk, who has like a fucking remote control on a TV. He's controlling them like a video game. He's gonna make them be their like covert assassins. This is the world, in my opinion, in my fucking theory, this is the world government's replacement for the Shichibukai. It's like, hey, we could get people who are roughly around the strength of the Shichibukai, similar as just as Kuma was a Shichibukai, but we'll just make them human weapons who can't disobey us and can't, like, you know, go out and do their own thing at all. You know, we have full control over them. This makes a ton of sense. It's turning allies into enemies. It's going to make for big drama in the final war between Luffy and Sabo and between other characters like Kuma. It just makes all the sense in the world, seeing that they were there to rescue Kuma. Their ultimate tragic fate being that they become just like the guy they were trying to save. That just makes all the sense in the world. People who are saying that theory was dumb, you're dumb. You'll see, I promise. No, we'll see what happens. Obviously, I could be wrong, but that's just it's just a game theory, yo. It's just a theory. Anyway. Okay, so I need to read through this before I read any comments, because I don't want to be spoiled to any shit. A few hours before that, they attacked the home. Okay, so destroying a monument. Yeah, blatant declaration of war. They succeeded in freeing their former comrade. I think that's a lie. I think that is media propaganda. Bartholomew Kuma from the Celestial Dragon slavery and managed to escape. I'm sure the admirals were restricted because they were fighting in the Holy Land, but don't make excuses for them. Not only was King Cobra assassinated, but around the same time, Princess Vivi somehow went missing. So Princess Vivi is captured too. Where the fuck is she? I bet you she's with Eam. Man. We'll see what happens. I actually don't have that many theories on where Vivi is right now. She might just be in hiding. Maybe she's with Jewelry Bonnie, who we know was also sneaking around. So we'll see what happens. We are still investigating how these cases are connected. Navy Criminal Affairs Unit, Chief Kuroma Tensai. Black Horse. Pretty cool. I like this guy's whole vibe. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Navy is basically, this is what they know to be the truth. Or maybe Akainu knows more. But my guess is that the world government is working independently of them, and like kind of this is their ruse, and this is what they're informing the Navy of. But we'll just have to see. I bet Alabasta is in chaos. Their ship hasn't even left the Red Port. It's hard for anyone to come and go given the circumstances. The Red Port. So wait, the Red Port at the Reverie or in Alabasta? I don't know what the Red fucking Port is. Okay, does that mean we can close the case on the attempted murder of Saint Charlos? Saint Mjosgard accused the criminals in the Holy Land. The gods' knights have jurisdiction to mediate disputes. The gods' knights is what these guys are called. So that's interesting. Saint Mjosgard accused the criminals in the Holy Land. The gods' knights have jurisdiction to mediate disputes. It's a complicated situation, to say the least. Leave them to it. It seems like most of these incidents are linked back to Sabo. His flames of rebellion are spreading all over the globe. All 8 of those rebelling kingdoms were inspired to stage their revolutionary coup. Oh shit, so all 8. So there were 8 rebelling kingdoms that started rebelling because they heard the news that Sabo basically attacked the Reverie and assassinated King Cobra, and that is the reason why the Navy has had their hands full, why they're spread so thin, and why they couldn't have anyone go to, stop the fight between, or, be like a presence in the battle between the Samurai Pirate Mink Alliance and Kaido and Big Mom's forces. That makes a lot of sense. This makes a lot more sense why they're spread so thin. It wasn't just that they had to, arrest the Shichibukai or the former Shichibukai. It's also that there are rebellions just like sparking up everywhere because of this news, which is most likely a ruse, which most likely is not the true news. It's fake news, but we'll just have to see. Returning home. Okay, so we got Sabo. It's almost as if they're worshiping him like a god. Flame Emperor, Sabo. Holy shit. Well, this is a bigger kerfuffle than I thought, I guess. Sabo, with the growth of his legend, you could say his influence is greater than of the rebellious dragon himself. Holy fuck. That's why I think that's why I think they've got Sabo. They got him turned into a human weapon by Vegapunk after he was beaten by the admirals. They microchipped his ass, and now they're going to use the fact that he is so popular to control the populace, to control the rebellion. It is a controlled rebellion managed by the 1%. Just saying. Without a doubt. Let's see. I'm going to read some comments. Cobra is dead. Question mark. I know, right, bro? I think they destroyed the hoof at least. What's the hoof? Admiral Ricardo failed. I know, right? Admiral Ricardo sucks. His name isn't even Ricardo. And he doesn't sleep naked. Aw. No, no. The real Green Bull will come through, and Ricardo will show his dominance once again. Don't make Robot Sabo your raid failing. I am going to do... I'm going to die on that hill. No, honestly, I'm not going to... look, if Robot Sabo or, microchipped Sabo doesn't happen, I'm not going to, cry about it. But, it just makes so much sense, dude. This is all, affirming my fucking bias for it. Or, not my bias, but, this, build-up to Sabo being as famous or even more famous than Dragon himself, if he ends up being a fucking plant, a fucking, tool of the world government, a human weapon that they can control, imagine how, much of a fucking checkmate they have on the entire world. This is the tool they need to undermine Dragon and the rebellion. That, it just makes all the sense in the world, to me, at least. I never, a lot of people have dismissed that theory. It's better than just another rescue arc. It's better than just, Ace again. That would be using Sabo to the best of its ability. It would be using his position as a revolutionary, his connection with Kuma. It would be, cashing in on all that good shit in, an interesting and, new way. That would be fucking awesome. So, and it would create, interesting conflict with Luffy as well, potentially, down the road. So, we'll see. Okay, so let's see what happens. On top of that, his little brother Straw Hat Luffy was dubbed an emperor. The Flame Emperor's influence can even be felt in the pirate world. His younger brother just upended their status quo. Right now, this guy looks like a fucking Antifa, super Antifa asshole. Oh my god, that haircut. Right now, the times are being forced to change. And the mast says revolution, of course. Viva la revolution, of course. I reached the rank of fleet admiral during one hell of an era. I don't care where they try to hit us. We'll strike back and return fire on all fronts. Cover and color spread next week, back-to-back issue. Whew. God damn, that was one hell of a chapter. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Holy fuck, man. Where to fucking start, dude? I mean, like, I've already given a lot of my thoughts on it, guys. Oh man. This was like the in-between arc chapters that I personally live for, man. Like, I know, a lot of shit gets talked about, lore piece and shit. Look, everyone, up until Wano, everybody loved the in-between arc chapters. I don't care who you fucking are. I don't care what you fucking say. I don't care if you pretend like you didn't like that shit. You've always liked that shit. You've always liked that shit. Only, like, literal fucking idiot-ass Nate heads all of a sudden think that, like, lore piece is bad. Like, literally, like, that's some, like, fucking, 2 IQ shit. Come on. Okay. Anyway, Admiral Ricardo failed. Don't make Robot Sabo your raid failing. Already too late for that, bro. Now, I mean, we'll see what happens. If it doesn't go that way, that's fine. If this is all true, like, okay. I just think it would be more interesting if it wasn't. But whatever. We'll see what happens. I know things aren't what they seem here. That much has to be the case. This is too cut and dry. This is way too cut and dry. Wow, you really are raid failing. 0 out of 10, not enough numbers. What do you mean not enough numbers? Neither bounty numbers or monster numbers. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, we didn't have enough numbers. there weren't enough numbers in Onigashima. Let's just say that. No Hamlet, no Reed. Agreed. Hamlet better join the crew. Fuck this Yamato bullshit. Fuck this carrot horse shit. We gotta have, the only horse shit I will accept is Speed. If Speed joins the crew, I'll be a happy camper. But yeah, what one hell of a fucking chapter. Jesus Christ. So much fucking shit in this chapter with Shanks, like a Shanks flashback. Shanks, like, revealing that he could go to One Piece at any time. Like, him kind of talking about Kid and fucking Bartolomeo. That's fucking wild, dude. And then, like, why are they in Wano? Why are they sailing around the outskirts of Wano? Like, why? and what's going to happen with Momo? Is he going to get choked out? Is he going to kill this man? Yamato, stay out of this. So, is he attacking to protect Yamato? So that Yamato doesn't get a bounty? I don't know what the fuck's going on. Interesting. Also, where the fuck is Kinemon? Why isn't he there with the boys? He should be there too. But Jesus, dude. Like, so much. Green Bull fight chapter. We got the fucking lore that I've been wondering about for fucking years now. Sabo is like a fucking, like, hero to everyone for fucking killing the king, okay, so here's the thing. We just know for a fact that Sabo didn't kill Cobra. We know that the Gorosei wanted Cobra assassinated. We've known that for a while. So this is obviously a ruse. And whether Akainu is in on the ruse or not is, like, my guess, based on the way he's talking, is that he doesn't know. And that when he finds out that it was a ruse, he's going to have, like, either a crisis of faith, or he's going to, like, split him apart from the inside, or maybe he will go ahead and kill the Gorosei himself and become the new big bad. I don't know. They are sowing the seeds for a conflict between, like, the world government and the Marines. Like, there is a distinction between those two forces. They've been doing so since Dressrosa, when Akainu was like, yo, why did you do this whole bait and switch thing with Doflamingo where you told us he wasn't a fucking not Celestial Dragon. He wasn't a, what's it fucking called? He wasn't like a Shichibukai anymore, but now he is again. or like he was all the time. You guys like published this news, but you didn't even like let me know. He was mad about that. So Akainu and them haven't been on the same page for a while. So something's going to come to, and like even just the stuff with Drake and CP0 in the last arc, Drake being undercover for the Marines and CP0 being undercover, obviously, for the world government. They are building to a conflict between the Marines and the world government. What side Akainu will take in that, it's unclear at this point. But it's fair to say that this is like this. Something smells fishy, real fucking fishy. Whether it's that Sabo has been made like a like has been brought into the fold after losing to the admirals or not. That's my theory. I think that makes the most sense and would be like the most interesting direction they can take it, at least that I can think of. Obviously, Oda's a genius. I'm not. When Goda's a genius, Hecht is an idiot. Hopefully, Oda surpasses my expectations in whatever way he wants. But the fact that, like, I had suspected that they were going to pin Cobra's death, that Cobra was dead, and that they were going to pin it on Sabo. I had predicted this a while ago. My guess is that Sabo is now, like, not, like, he is, because Sabo would never work for the world government of his own volition. But the way the world government could capitalize on Sabo's newfound popularity would be to take control of him. And the only way I can think of them doing that would be to turn him into a human weapon. That's the only way I can think of it happening. Maybe you guys know of a better way or a different way that could happen. I've heard some other suggestions of how that could happen. I don't think any of them make as much sense and would be narratively as interesting or as satisfying as Sabo being turned into a human weapon. Because we know that the world government and that specifically Vegapunk has a new initiative, a new science-based initiative, which allow them to replace the Shichibukai, turning like former heroes from like the Revolutionary Army into human weapons feels like it's something that could suffice in that department. And also, we just know that like, Kuma used to be a member of the Revolutionary Army, was, for whatever reason, submitted to them, brought into the fold, became a human weapon, lost his autonomy, and is now basically fully controlled by Vegapunk and the world government. It would just make sense, in a dramatic sense, for the same type of thing to happen to his allies. That would be like the most like tragic like outcome for them after trying to go rescue him. To me, that just makes by far the most sense on a dramatic level. It would make like the narrative going forward for Sabo and the Revolutionaries very interesting. It would kind of fill in the blanks on why they are able to control the narrative in this way, and how, and it would also just like allow them to capitalize on the current, state of Sabo's newfound popularity. So it makes a ton of sense to me that this is the direction that they could go and might go. I don't know if they will go that way. I'm not going to go raid fails about it. I've been having a little fun with it because it's a theory that just makes the most sense, and it would be so much better than just another, like, just doing an Ace rescue arc for Sabo again. Because I just want to, like, Sabo is already too similar to Ace. The stuff that's most interesting about Sabo to me is his relationship with to the Revolutionary Army. That is a differentiating factor from Ace, and it makes Sabo interesting in ways that don't relate to Ace. Sabo was already like that shoehorned in brother that was too close, that has inherited Ace's power and inherited his will in some way, shape, and form. But the most interesting thing about Sabo is what we learned about him during the Reverie and his actions he took during the Reverie, and specifically him and his his friends. I keep saying homies, but that's like a Big Mom thing, so I'm going to try not to say that. Him and his boys trying to rescue their former comrade Kuma. So this being like the ultimate like fate of them becoming, like controlled human weapons, and then having that come to a head potentially with him ended up being used against Luffy, I think would be pretty interesting. But we'll see what happens. I could be very, very wrong about that. And if I am, I'll fucking eat my words. But that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on why that theory is interesting to me and why, and it's mine. I came up with it. So like, at least I'm sure other people have had that theory too, but like, I didn't like read that anywhere. I just like came up with that in my own head. I'm like, oh, that would be neat. Like, that would be cool. That would be different enough from Ace and has like enough dramatic potential and like enough interesting narrative potential and seems to vibe with like the direction that Oda's going in, that I would fuck heavy with that type of thing. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so Shanks is gonna make a clearing for the crew to escape the island surrounded by Marines. Maybe that'd be interesting. It'd be a little weird because I feel like the next logical step on their journey is go meet Shanks somewhere, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, Shanks is making his move, which is pretty crazy. We're about to get that Shanks movie, which I'm probably not even gonna watch, but interesting that Shanks is all of a sudden trying to go after the One Piece. I wonder what took him so long. What took him so long, dude? Why did he wait? Oda, you better explain that shit. The Sabo will robo. Sabo, robo? Seems to make sense. Guys, it would make sense for the raid to fail. The narrative has been hinting. Come on, Sour, come on. You gotta admit my theory makes a little bit more sense. At least at this point in time. Look, if Sabo doesn't end up being a robot, I'm not gonna or if the evidence points to him not being a human weapon. And when I say robot, I don't think he's necessarily been they've dug out his innards and just stuffed a fucking robo skeleton in him. But my guess is he's been, after he was defeated by the admirals, he was, they put a fucking microchip in him, did something to make him controllable. Because the Sabo we would know would not submit to the world government's authority but on his own. And obviously if he was out there, he might just be out on the run. That's possible. Maybe he's just out on the run. But to me, it would make more sense that, it seems to me, just the fact that we know he didn't kill King Cobra. We know that the government did that because they said they wanted to do it during the reverie. That just did happen. So we know that there's fucking chicanery going on here. It's just a matter of, how deep does it go? And to me, controlling Sabo in whatever way they're doing it. Maybe Django hypnotized Sabo. Maybe they hired Django. Django works for the Marines. Maybe they got Django to hypnotize Sabo, and that's why he's becoming a Marine plant, a Marine adjacent guy. I just think, to me, that would make the most dramatic sense and have the most interesting potential for the character and for that Marine or that revolutionary storyline going forward. That would actually be really interesting. I can't think of anything more interesting happening in the revolutionary sphere than the revolutionaries being undermined from the inside by the world government and leading into Vegapunk related stuff, because it's already related. Kuma is already a former revolutionary who is a human weapon for the world government. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. I mean, when you're saying that the world government is publishing fake news after all those panels of Morgan's being yo, fuck the world government. But if your theory, Sour, come on. This all happened, this news about Sabo and Cobra dying happened before Morgan's punched that world government guy in the face. This is all stuff that happened before that. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this is a more recent paper, I guess. But the thing is, if Big News Morgan still has to get his news from somewhere. We know for a fact Sabo didn't assassinate this guy. We just know, okay, I guess saying we know for a fact might be overstating it, but are you really telling me you think Sabo assassinated King Cobra? Do you actually believe that? Because I would say that's pretty naive, if you actually think that's what happened. We know that the world government publishes fake news. And, yeah, maybe, what's-his-name's gone a little bit rogue. But still, this story relates to stuff that happened in Mariejoa. Big News Morgan's was not allowed. He was downstairs when the kings and queens were going up to Mariejoa in that fucking floating elevator thingy. He wasn't allowed to go upstairs. Any news they got about the reverie came from the world government and the people involved, the kings and queens that were involved there. So, the world government and the, Marines had full control over, what was perceived at their own events. That's just, it just makes sense. I don't know. I don't know what, okay, well, I'll read your comment. But if your theory is the case, why would Sakazuki be unhappy with Isho and Aramaki after their performance at Mariejoa? My guess is that is that, okay, so here's the thing. We know that the admirals were at very least, based on the news that we just heard in this chapter, able to repel these guys. But that, according to the news, these guys saved Kuma. But would Kuma really be saved off screen? Kuma is a fucking robot without he doesn't think for himself anymore. He's gone. Like, even if they got him out of there, they didn't save him. You know what I'm saying? Like, either Kuma is now with the revolutionaries, wherever the fuck they are, and he is spying on them for the world government as their weapon, as their, toy that they control from a distance. Or, this is fake news, and that they didn't actually save Kuma, because that wouldn't, the stuff that's going on with Kuma has to be explained at some point. That is not the type of thing that Oda's just going to skip. That's being built up in the background for ages. That is clearly not just narrative linchpin, it's an emotional linchpin. There's stuff, there's thematic and emotional content there. It's not just going to be shrugged off as a forgotten plot point. It's just not. I don't believe it is anyway. If they just saved him off screen, it's he's saved now. Everything's good, man. Things are going well for the Revolutionary Army. Things are going great, dude. No. This is some bullshit. This is if you took this at face value, I think you need to read it again. I think you need to double tick. I think you need to go back to the stuff we got in the in-between arc chapters and back in Reverie and reassess that stuff, because I think that's too cut and dry. I think most likely the Marines aren't telling Sakazuki everything, because guess what? We just know that they keep things from him. We just know that because they did it when Sakazuki thought that when Doflamingo was removed from his warlord position, he thought that was just true. And he got mad at them for lying to him about that. That's just a plot point. They keep shit from this dude. So yeah, him just taking this shit at face value, this might be just how he was briefed on this shit. And it's possible that the fucking, what's it called? The clash with the admirals happened between Purple Tiger and Green Boy. They had a clash with the revolutionaries. The revolutionaries maybe, grabbed Kuma, tried to dip, and then they got jumped by CP0 or somebody else. It's possible that, who knows what happened? But, I know, regardless of the details, this shit smells fishy as fuck. This is not as cut and dry as it's being made out to be here. It's just not. That is clear as day to me. I would bet money on that. I'm down for them manipulating the narrative, perhaps to draw out all dissidents at the same time. That's my thought. I think that's what they're going for. But this is a bit far. Possibly. But we know that Akainu is clearly he is a dog of the military. He is bought into the cause of absolute justice. Them kind of leading him in this direction of going whole hog to squash this rebellion would make sense. That would be them using his fucking blind faith in his view of justice to their advantage. Because we know that the Gorosei and Im know that things aren't quite as black and white as Akainu thinks they are. We just know that. So, dude, come on, bro. This is all real, man. Just listen to me, dude. I'm not a crack cheese, dude. Come on, brother. You know I'm spitting facts here. Even if you disagree with me, I'm just saying, even if I'm completely wrong and that Sabo got away with his boys and that maybe they even did grab Kuma and get his ass out of there, best case scenario for them, Kuma is now spying on them. There's no way they're going to take Kuma out of there and Kuma's shit is going to be resolved off screen and they just have him back and he's his old happy-go-lucky self again. That's not happening. I hope at least you agree that that's not happening. That is an impossibility. Okay, it's not an impossibility. Oda can do whatever the fuck he wants. That would be horrible writing. That would be really, really bad. If they resolve all the Kuma shit during Wano and didn't show us any of it, and Kuma's just back to normal now and they succeeded in saving him and Sabo's a hero and everyone loves him, either this whole thing's a ruse or it's not a ruse, but Kuma, now they have Kuma back with them, and Kuma is their spy in the Revolutionary Army midst. It's I mean, there's more options than that, but it's got to be, like, things are not going, like, they are clearly, like, fucking with the revolutionaries by doing this whole thing, one way or the other. I'm sure a lot of it's manipulated, but I would be surprised if the revolutionaries didn't get away. I disagree. The revolutionaries were deep in enemy territory. They attacked the fucking, what's it called? The fucking, the Reverie. And afterwards, now the world government's controlling the entire, like, news around the situation. And, like, so what I know, so here's what we know, right? We know that this is what the world believes, but we know that Sabo is being praised for killing King Cobra. Vivi's missing. But we just know that Sabo wouldn't kill King Cobra. We just know that. Like, if you believe Sabo would kill King Cobra, I don't think we're reading, like, I don't know. I don't want to, like, that's just, like, from, like, okay, is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It is the most unlikely thing I could possibly think of. Like, that is obviously a lie. So either Sabo is dealing with that, or he's, like, pretending, like, oh yeah, I did kill King Cobra, and everyone's cheering him on or whatever. It seems like Sabo isn't, like, controlling the narrative, at least, right? So, like, it makes me think, like, wouldn't Sabo be, like, okay, so here's the thing. You brought up Big News Morgans a few times, Sour. So let's talk about Big News Morgans for a second, right? Big News Morgans has gone sort of rogue. Like, he's doing his own thing. He's off the grid. He's flying around. He's not listening to the world government right now. If he was, what do you call it? If he was so, like, distant from the world government right now, don't you think Sabo or someone from the Revolutionary Army who's close with Sabo could call in to Big News Morgans, just like guys like Wapple do and other, like, informants do, and just be like, hey, yeah, they're telling lies. Like, that's actually not what happened. Let me tell you the real story. The world government, had a conspiracy, and they used me as their fall guy. Don't you think, like, if you're so sure that this is the truth, and that, or that, how would I put it? Like, if you're taking this at face value, like, don't you, and also considering the fact that, like, it's not the world government that's controlling the, what the public is receiving about this, it's Big News Morgans who's controlling it, then there's no reason why Big News Morgans, who is currently, like, kind of at a schism with the world government, wouldn't be able to get a better source for his story. There's no if Sabo is fine, why doesn't he just call in and tell them what happened? Primary source, right there. Like, there's no reason. There's no reason why that couldn't happen. So I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. Okay, so here, let me read some of these comments. Because the warlords are managed by Kong. I forgot about Kong. But the admirals report directly to him. To Kong? So true, yeah. Fair enough. I kind of forget about Kong sometimes because he's not mentioned that often. But I just, I think the whole point I was trying to get at is that the Gorosei don't always let Akainu in on what they've got going on, which is what we saw that in Dressrosa. We just know that that's the case. Sometimes they probably do, but not all the time. Akainu seems like the type of guy that he's such, like, a dogmatic, like, stuck in his ways, like, sees the world in black and white type of guy, that I feel like he's someone that they could easily manipulate. And that's probably why he was pissed about the whole Doflamingo thing, but I don't know. So they can't be the ones that captured the Revos in any case. Well, the Marines can't. So if Fujitora and Green Bull were the ones that captured the Revos, that would, Akainu would probably know about it, unless they were specifically ordered by the Gorosei or something not to report that to Akainu. Most likely they probably would have reported it because Green Bull is a huge Akainu simp, right? So my guess is that they fought maybe from the Marines' perspective, they were able to get away after retrieving Kuma or whatever. But then maybe they like were damaged in that fight with the admirals, and maybe like CP0 or some other agents of the government were able to ambush them and capture them, etc. Or maybe Kuma like fucking captured them when they weren't expecting it because they didn't expect Kuma to turn on them. Some shit like that. It's possible. Like, all I'm saying is, like, it's also possible they weren't captured. It's possible they got away. I personally think if they got away, Sabo would have called Big News Morgans himself and fucking corrected the story, set the record straight, because we just know he could do that. You see what I'm saying? Like, if Sabo was okay, there's no reason, like, and you know, if Sabo is okay, I don't see why he couldn't set the record straight by calling Big News Morgans. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, like, that doesn't add up. Let's see. Okay. I'm with you up until, okay, so hold on. I think Kuma's, hold on. Okay. I'm a couple comments behind. So they can't be the ones that capture, okay. So I just explained why I think, like, probably wasn't the admirals themselves. Maybe it was Kuma. Maybe someone else jumped them, CP0, etc. Who knows? Oda's a hack. Stop trying to make sense of One Piece. Good point, Rouge Rich. That's a good point. I'm with you up until the Robo Sabo mine ship shit. Fair enough. Plausible, possible, plausible. Wait, what did you just say? I forget what that was in reference to. The revolutionaries are very competent, and I'm tired of pretending they aren't. Okay, if you say so. I mean, sure, they're competent. That doesn't mean they can't be outmaneuvered by, you know, Eam and the Gorosei and the world government, though. I don't think Sabo killed Cobra, but the other stuff I can believe. I guess so. I don't know. I just, it's fair if the other stuff you can believe. I just don't think Sabo would let the news cycle run with this idea that he killed Cobra, you know, inciting wars all over the place, if he was, what's it called? If he was, like, free, you know? Like, if he's not captured, he's essentially non-active right now. For whatever reason, he can't contact the news. It's either because if he fucking calls, they're tapping all the phones and they'll know where he is. They'll be able to pinpoint him and find his ass, or he's already captured. Otherwise, I see no reason why Sabo can't set the record straight, because we just know that Big News Morgans is independent. So I don't see why this story would go forward as it is without, you know, a what's it called, like a not a referendum, but like a correction article, essentially, like you know, a corrections page being published by Big News Morgans, because he clearly will tell this. Like, if Sabo called in and be like, no, this is actually a government conspiracy, I bet you Big News Morgans would love to tell that story. It's Big News Morgans. So I don't know. I think it's, for me, Sabo is at very least captured. Whether he's a robo or not, I don't know. For me, like, the whole robo thing comes from the idea that I think the world government is trying to capitalize it. Like, for me, it just makes sense that, like, from a narrative perspective, from like a dramatic perspective, that this, like, the most tragic thing that could happen to the revolutionary generals is that the same thing they meet the same fate that Kuma met, and that they become, you know, what they hate. They become like this. And also, like, Sabo's whole thing back in his flashback with Luffy and Ace was all about he wasn't free because he grew up in this society that had, like, rigid rules and had his whole life planned out, and he hated that. He, like, Sabo, like Ace said after Sabo died in that flashback, like, whatever killed Sabo, it's the opposite of freedom. That's literally what made Luffy care about freedom in the first place, was that whole, like, situation. So, like Sabo's whole thing being about freedom, and having that freedom stripped from him would be, like, kind of like the ultimate, like, sort of, like, slap to the face kind of Sabo. To me, it just makes all the dramatic sense in the world that something like that would happen. Whether it's that they've hypnotized him with Django's fucking chain thing, or that he, you know, becomes a human weapon, or that they stick a fucking chip in his fucking head or whatever. would be very, very surprised if taking autonomy away from Sabo and using him against his friends in some way, shape, or form, whether it's just by capturing him and kind of spreading this news the way they are, or if it's by, like, actively using him as, like, a piece on the board, by turning him into a human weapon or, fucking using him as like some sort of, brainwashing him or some shit. Whatever it is, like I would be very surprised if they didn't take that somewhere, because Oda tends to like have a theme for his characters and like take that places. Like that's just, like Oda does that. That is what he does. So I don't know. Like good writers do shit like that. So I'm just saying. Wait, hold on. Okay, I'm way behind on comments. I don't think Sabo killed Cobra, but the other... Okay, yeah, we read that. What do you mean Sabo is clearly a sociopathic serial killer with a god complex? Yep. Sabo was framed, and the Revs took Vivi to protect her from the Marines, is probably what happened. Honestly, that would make sense. If Vivi was with the Revos, that'd actually be kind of cool. That would be like an interesting way to bring her back into the narrative. So that would be neat. I would like that. I mean that the admirals report directly to Sakazuki. Yes, I got that, Echo. So if the admirals caught the revolutionaries, Akainu would know. Yep. Yeah, that's why I kind of clarified my position that it might be that after fighting the admirals, they were like weakened, or maybe the admirals saw them get away, but maybe like Kuma himself or, agents of the world government, CP0, etc., whoever, were the ones that like ambushed them and caught them. I don't know. And who knows, maybe some of the other, maybe like Morley and Karasu got away, but maybe Sabo was captured. The main reason I think Sabo was probably captured, putting the robo shit aside, because that's become a bit of a meme at this point, is just that Sabo, there's no reason why Sabo couldn't correct the story by just calling Big News Martins. Like, I've yet to, maybe Oda will explain that, probably will, but like, from my perspective, I don't see how this news would have blown up the way it has if, like, Sabo was free. That's just how I think. Because we also know from the in-between arc stuff between Act 2 and Act 3 that Dragon was unable to contact Sabo. They were awaiting... They got news about Sabo being blamed for King Cobra's murder, and they hadn't confirmed his status. They were like, this is impossible. You guys should go back and read that. I forget what chapter is that. Fuck, maybe I'll pull that up. It was chapter... what chapter was that? Shit. It was between Acts 2 and 3 of Wano. So I think it was like 950 something? 956 maybe? Yeah, 956 I believe it was. Okay, so 956, it's page 8 of 17. Kamabaka Queendom, Revolutionary Army HQ. What does this mean? That can't be true. You're kidding, Sabo. It's the WEJ, so that's the World Economic Journal, Big News Morgan's journal. That bird's lying through his beak. So then we have Ivankov saying, this is Sabo we're talking about. It's impossible. I won't believe a word of it. This must be in relation to the news that we just got here, that Sabo killed King Cobra. Because we didn't get news that Sabo's dead. All we know is that he killed King Cobra and that everyone's following him now, right? But based on the way the revolutionaries themselves are acting in this chapter, right here, I'm trying to show you guys a little bit. That is like, and then Dragon says, our first step is to ascertain the truth. So they, at that point, this is like a couple weeks ago, like at least a week ago in One Piece time, they did not know the status of Sabo, which means they probably also don't know the status of Karasu, Morley, and, Gilbert, or whatever the fuck the gerbil's name is, Like, those guys were with Sabo. If Sabo was captured, if he was kidnapped, they would be able to go back to Dragon and be like, yo, our boy got napped, let's go help him out. So either he got napped when they weren't looking and they weren't ever able to confirm the status. But the thing is, so here's the thing. If they escaped with... So, at the very least, Sabo's been taken off the board by the world, almost definitely by the world government, right? It's kind of up in the air whether his boys did as well, his friends that came to rescue Kuma with him, got taken off the board and captured as well. But most likely they did, because otherwise Dragon would know what's going on, and he doesn't. The other revolutionaries, at that point in time, don't know what's happening. They need to ascertain the truth. So, just saying, like, all roads point to Sabo and his homie, and his I keep saying homies, his boys being captured. Whether they're getting turned into human weapons or not, up for debate. To me, that makes sense from it would be interesting. It would make sense dramatically, it makes sense narratively. It would make sense for Sabo's character arc. Like, it would make sense. I don't know if it's going to happen. We'll just have to wait and see. But clearly, they're kind of, the world government is sort of starting their own revolutionary faction, essentially, by using this news to spark more revolution for whatever. Yeah, maybe they didn't even intend for it to blow up the way it did. Who knows? But at very least, they're controlling the story. And the story clearly is not the truth, according to Sabo's own friends' mouths. Ivanka said it. Dragon said it. They're like, this is literally impossible. This would never happen. Big News Morgans must be lying. So, I don't know. Definitely, Sabo's in dire straits right now. We know that much. What do you mean Sabo is clearly... Okay, so I mean that the admirals report directly to Sakazuki. So if the admirals caught the revolutionaries, it kind of would know. Not necessarily. I mean, well, the admirals did, yes. He would know. But if the world government did it, like whether it be CP0 or someone else who works for Kuma, someone else who works for the world government, that could potentially be kept from Sakazuki. I've been right more often than I've been wrong, taking things at face value. Cough, pudding, triple cross, cough. Okay, but that was obviously Nate being autistic, Sour. That's not a good example. This is clearly, this would actually, if you're taking this information that we're getting from, what's this character's name? Kuroma Tensai. If you're taking the information we're getting from Kuroma Tensai at face value, then you're ignoring the information we got back during the between arc stuff. You're ignoring that information. So technically you're not taking the story at face value. You're ignoring like critical information if you're just like kind of being like, oh, this must be true. You know what I'm saying? Like that it doesn't shit doesn't add up. We're clearly being fed a bunch of lies right now. Like that's clearly the case. But while I agree that much of this is suspicious, I'm not about to delve cock deep into my imagination. I am going to delve cock deep into my imagination. Thank you very much. And I struggle to see how the Revos could get away from the Admirals, but not CP0. I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that, but look, all signs point to Sabo being captured. Just saying, because he hasn't made contact with the guys, like with his, like his, what do you call it? Superiors. Most likely, based on what his superiors said in that chapter I just showed you, chapter, 1066? What was that? Sorry, 956. Like, they haven't made contact. This is news to them as well. They know it's not true, because Sabo wouldn't do that. That wasn't their mission. And at very least, this whole shit right here is a lie. And since Sabo isn't around, he can't set the story straight. So, he is at very least captured. At very least captured. I don't think there's really any room to argue that. But, if you have a counterpoint, feel free to give it. And I struggle to... Okay, so Sabo got tons of support from this false narrative, so why would he correct the news? Because it's like... Okay. Well, so that's a good question. But here's the thing. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look, does this seem like a reasonable individual to you? I don't think this is the type of support Sabo would really want. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like this has caused civil unrest to a degree that... Like, here's the thing. A lot of One Piece's narrative has been, like, propping up, like, sometimes there are good rulers, sometimes there are bad rulers. King Cobra, we know, was a good ruler. So, by the fact that Sabo supposedly killing Cobra has led to all of these, this civil unrest in these, 8 nations, I think they said? I think they said all 8 of those rebelling kingdoms... I think this is causing civil unrest that Sabo would not be behind. Because we just know that guys like King Cobra are good, guys like Momonosuke are good, guys like King Riku are good guys. It was because they were usurped by tyrants that that things went shit in their countries. And we know for a fact that the Sabo boys are a bit more moderate. They're out to take down the Celestial Dragons because the Celestial Dragons are bad boys for the most part. So, I don't think Sabo would let this shit fly in the way that it is if he was, like he would very least like wouldn't want like the narrative to be going in this direction, I don't think. But I don't know. Like if you disagree, that's understandable. I think like, but to me, like just the fact that he hadn't made contact with Dragon Ivankov when this news was initially published, it says a lot. That says a lot. Okay, so it's helping the cause. Like I said, I don't think it is. I think it is. I think that is oversimplification. Ultimately, my point is just that I don't theorycraft as all it leads to is being made a fool of, made a fool at being wrong. I mean, dude, we're just having fun. Like, if I'm wrong, like, whatever. It's not the biggest deal in the world. Like, I'm not, like, I know it's fun to, like, meme and say, like, I'm going full raid fail mode. I'm really not. Like, I think I'm putting out, like, reasonable ideas. And, like, if at the end of the day, like, let's say Oda decides to, like, completely just forget all of that stuff from chapter 966 or whatever. 966, right? Like, let's say he's like, oh yeah, I just forgot that happened, and Sabo did kill the guy, and this is all good for the Revolutionary Army, and now it's just, like, now Akainu's just gonna go squash the rebellion. That's it. Like, okay, like, that's fine. I think that's kind of lazy writing on Oda's part, but, like, whatever, that's okay. Like, I'm not gonna stop reading One Piece because of it. Like, if he does something interesting with it, cool. But, like, to me, like, you know, that the ideas I put forward here make sense, and make more sense based on what we know about the situation, because we do know a good bit about the situation already, even if we don't know everything. I'd rather stick to the hockey fruit field of One Piece theories. That's fair enough, dude. That's fair enough. But I hope you understand where I'm coming from a little bit more now that we've kind of like gone back and forth about it a little bit. Like, I hope you know it's not just like me kind of like going fucking galaxy brain. Like, I have evidence. You know, I brought out a chapter. I quoted a chapter. You know, I hope you understand my thought process at the very least. And like, worst case scenario, like, Oda just goes a different direction, and that's fine. Like, I just think it would make more sense for, like, dramatically for Sabo and his boys to end up being used by the world government to, you know, foment, like, discord among the Revolutionary Army in some way, shape, or form, and potentially be used by them, which would be interesting. It would be interesting to me if that happened. If you don't think that would be interesting, well, I guess we'll just see what Oda ends up doing. So, you know, and either way, I'll be okay. Anyway, let's keep moving on. True, but I do think the revolutionaries have been represented as more extreme in their outlook and support in their cause. I don't really think so. Even though their end goal is the Celestial Dragons, I do think they need the support. I mean, to some degree, yeah, but, like, I think, like, with the okay, so here's the thing, brother. Ego. So, it sounds like you're saying the Revolutionary Army, like, will accept support regardless of, like, what that support looks like. The Revolutionary Army want to take down the Celestial Dragons. Blackbeard would probably be happy to take down the Celestial Dragons. Do you think if Blackbeard approached the Revolutionary Army and was like, yo, bro, we got the same goal, let's do this shit, do you think they'd be like, yeah, man, let's, okay. Like, we don't care that you fucking destroyed our base and tried to fucking, you know, steal my friend's devil fruit and kill him, like, you know, or Sabo's devil fruit and kill him back in Dressrosa. We don't give a fuck about any of that shit. We don't give a fuck about the fact that you are a bad dude. We will totally work with you. Well, you know, alliance of convenience, let's go ahead and do it. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I don't think they would do that. Like, and who knows, I might be wrong. This is just me basing, like, what I know about Oda and the way he writes, like, characters that he wants to present as, like, morally good, is that they don't, like, they don't unnecessarily ally themselves with, like, people with, like, bad motivations, and that they do stick to their values even if it means they will have, you know, a tougher time. Like, Oda tends to... I don't think Sabo is the type of person that would shut up about, you know, news going around that he killed a good king that clearly his allies, like Ivankov and Dragon, think like he wouldn't have done this if, you know, even if it was garnering them support. I don't think Sabo is the type of guy who would do that. Like, and who knows, man? Oda could totally prove me wrong. Oda could come out and be like, no, like, Sabo is totally like, you know what? It's good for us. It's good for our cause. I'm gonna allow it to keep spreading because it's good for us. Like, you know, that could, like, next chapter, Sabo could say that, and I'll eat my words, and that's okay. You know, I'm just basing this off of like what I know from Oda's writing up to this point, and like the way I think he's characterized these characters up to this point, which like is a little bit more how do I put it? Like I think it's a little bit more I think the revolutionary armies are a little bit less extreme than they're made out to be, based on the fact that they don't want to take down the world government, or they don't want to take down the world, like the Marines. They just want to like take down their enemies are the heavenly dragons specifically. I think that shows that they're probably painted to be more extreme than they are. And just like the way guys like Dragon and Sabo, specifically more Sabo, because we don't know that much about Dragon, but Sabo, like, we know a good bit about. We know that he's like a good dude with like a good, like, you know, he's got like his own, you know, code of ethics and moral compass and all that shit. Like, even if we don't know exactly what it is, like, I don't think he would let this type of shit fly. But I'm open to being proven wrong about that. Especially, okay, so that being made a fool part is specifically targeted at Morge and Nate, especially Nate. I mean, here's the thing, dude. I've definitely made some pretty unfavorable bets in the past about like One Piece related stuff. And I've definitely like made a fool of myself doing that. So I'm not saying I won't be made a fool of. I'm just trying to like, at this point in time, at this point in my life, at this point in One Piece, I'm kind of like, I'm just throwing things at the wall because I think it's fun to speculate. You know, that's all. Like I'm not gonna be like, as long as Oda does something interesting, I'm down for it. I'm down for it. Like, my thing is like, I hope that Oda does something more interesting than I'm thinking. Because, like, for me, the whole Sabo and his homeboys becoming, like, human weapons is the most interesting thing I could think to do with those characters. And it would, like, to me, it fits, like, narratively and thematically for those guys. And it, like, seems like a, like, sort of, like, a dramatic, like, way to take their characters. They went to save their boy who was turned into, you know, a human weapon. They become human weapons themselves. That's, like, a dramatic irony thing. Like, that... Like, that's why I like the idea, because it, like, in my head, it's like, oh yeah, that would be a dramatic place to, you know, to take this. That would be interesting. It would be more interesting than just Luffy having to rescue another brother, which we've seen before, you know? But listen, if Oda does another rescue arc, as long as he makes it interesting, I'm down. Or if he does something else, or if he has, you know, maybe has Sabo on the run, like, that could be interesting. I'm down for it, you know? There's other things that can be done. Based on what we've discussed here, I think it's most likely that Sabo, and probably his boys too, that went with him to Reverie, probably got captured. But that's just based on the fact that they haven't contacted Dragon. To me, that would make the most sense. At least last time we checked in with Dragon, which was, you know, not that long ago. It was 966. And you. Thanks, Zenteam. Morge just wanted to double down. Yeah. Listen, I'm, you know, at the end of the day, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's fine. Like, to me, it seems interesting. It would be an interesting direction for Oda to go in. And it would make sense with, I think, what he's currently working with, but whatever. Morge just wanted to double down. Nate is just stupid. Nate is agreed. Yes. Like I said, I'm with you until the Sabo bot, because that felt full conspiracy theories. Fair enough. Buddha Karadish. Yeah, they don't accept support from anyone but the proletariat. I think Sabo was framed, obviously, but the support he got from that wasn't planned. I agree the support probably wasn't planned. Like, they probably didn't intend for it to become, like, a thing that led to, like, revolutions spouting, like, coming up all over the place, etc. That's a fair assessment, Entim. I think that would make sense. We'll see. Maybe there is something to it. Maybe they're trying to push. Maybe the world, like the Eam or the Gorosei, expected it to foment revolutions, and maybe they knew that that would mean Akainu would, like, you know, would act. Like, it's possible that they had some, like, you know, like 10,000 IQ play here going on, but it's hard to say. It's too early to say. I can't really predict either way on that one. It's just whatever happens with that. Ego says, BB is of course an extreme example that clearly has ulterior motives. I do agree that Sabo is good, but I personally see him as a very shrewd guy as well. I don't know. I don't think he would let like this narrative fly if he was able to stop it. If he was able to correct the narrative, or like get in contact with the news, or put his own opinion out there. It's possible that he can't. It's possible that he's got like people hunting him and he has to stay extremely hidden or something. My guess is that he literally can't, and that he's probably at very least captured, even if he's not a Robo Boy. But hopefully, I know, Lemon, you've said a bunch of times that the Robo Boy thing is too far down the conspiracy hole for you. I hope you can at least understand my thought process behind it, right? Like, because obviously there's the connection between them and Kuma. Dramatically, it would make sense for them to become the thing that they were trying to save their friend from. I hope, like, that makes some sense to you. At least, like, why I would think that would be interesting. If they don't go with that, that's fine. I don't know. Like, Oda could totally do something else, and I'd be fine with it. Again, something must have gone wrong with the operation, but I also feel the government would parade it around if Sabo was caught, like with Ace. I mean, unless it's more beneficial for them to keep it under wraps and to just use him as a scapegoat, which it might be. It might be. So we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. Because Ace was the son of Goldie Roger. There was a reason to cut off his bloodline because it was symbolic. There was a symbolic reason to be like, oh yeah, we're not going to let like anyone who has like any relation to the Pirate King survive. But with Sabo, he's related to, like nobility, and he's like a Revolutionary Army guy. There's potentially more you can squeeze out of that than you could with Ace. With Ace, it was just like they took a hardline stance. They're like, nah, this guy's the seed of the Pirate King. We gotta fucking kill that boy. So for me, I don't see that as necessarily being the case. But anyway, agree to disagree. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see where Oda takes it. And I can't wait for me to be proven right about it, and you guys to eat your fucking words. It might, but I don't see anything that suggests that as of now. Ace being Roger's son wasn't in the news, though. It wasn't in the news, but it was broadcasted publicly, and it was clearly the reason why, like, they wanted him dead. It wasn't just that he was a pirate and that he was related to Whitebeard. It was like, no, this guy, like, we need to make an example of this guy because he's the son of the Pirate King. That was like the stated like kind of primary motivation behind them wanting to fucking kill that boy. So yeah, I think like, I think there's more reasons for them to like keep Sabo around because he could be useful. But who knows, man? Who knows? We'll see what happens. Anyway, guys, this has been fun. It's honestly, what a great chapter to come back to. Like this, there's just so much to talk about with this one. Like it's just kind of it led to an endless discussion about stupid theories. But hey, man, you guys will eat your words when Sabo becomes a robo. I dare. I bet $1 million. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. I do see that as a distinct possibility of Sabo and his boys becoming just like Kuma, because guess what? Kuma's one of them once, so it would make some sense to me. But yeah, we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. Either way, things do not look good for our boy Sabo right now. So we'll see what happens to him in the next chapter or sometime in the future. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of ChipZ Ahoy. It's been a blast to come back and, have this fun conversation with all you guys. And yeah, we'll be back next week. Doesn't look like the One Piece is on break next week. I'm excited for that. VOD name should be Robo Sabo. Yeah, dude, you know it. That's going to be my new hashtag. It's Robo Sabo. But yeah, no, this is a really fun chapter to come back to. I'm going to be, streaming this again next Thursday, most likely. And then I'll probably also be streaming on Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to be streaming some games again. Probably either going to be doing that new game Stray, where you play as like a cat and like a fucking what's it called? Like you're like in like a fucking cyberpunk-esque city, but you play as like a cat and got like a designated meow button and shit. It just looks like a chill ass game. I might also play if I'm not feeling that. I might play what's it called? Nier Automata. I've been meaning to get back into that game for a while. And then when there's a game coming out called Thamnesia, which is a kind of like a Bloodborne-like game. It's coming out in August, so that's going to be the next game I'm planning to do like a full playthrough of. And I'll try to stream it all. So yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you on the high seas, my friends. See you next time.